Now with Natalie. Super dope day. Natalie's coming on live on Instagram with us. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. My big sister Natalie is coming through. Got some good talk going on. All right, so guys, how's everybody's day going on? Is everybody having a good day so far? I hope everybody's having a good day. I had a very long day. What's up, Billy? What's up, Aida? What up, Natalie? What up, Chef? And then it's coming on. There you go, right here. All right, guys, going live with Natalie right now. Super dope topic today. I'm really excited to see you, Natalie. I don't know if that's you or me. What up? Yo, you the best barber out there in Florida, man. I need to come back down and fly down and get a shape up. Yo, Natalie, you good?
Yeah, is it my headphones? Because, sometimes this technology be acting crazy.
I don't know about me. All right, guys, can you let me know? Can you guys hear us out there? Can you hear us on Instagram? Can you hear us on YouTube and Facebook? What up, fam? What up, Jared? Oh, wow. All my students are popping up, my old students.
Hey, students.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right, there we go. Can you guys hear us clearly on Instagram? Let me know something in the comments, guys. If you hear us clearly, let us know if you can hear us. All right, good.
All right, yeah.
All right, so super dope day today. It was the first day of the school year. I'm super happy about that because, this is the first year I'm going into school that this is my second year into a school that I really love. Me, I'm usually dreading to go back because it's like, they said yours. Oh, it's your earpods. I think, Natalie. Someone's saying reconnect your earpods. So yes, this is my 10th year teaching first off. So I'm excited about that part because teaching can be very, very challenging. Teaching kind of lets you know who you are. It can be very much so a process. It's a learning curve. But I'm super happy because I'm able to celebrate 10 years of teaching, and this is my second year of one of the best schools I've ever worked in. So I'm excited about that part. So that's a big thing for me. So Natalie, what's going on big with you this week? I know everybody got a birthday in Natalie family this week in the whole month.
We do. Hey, Star. Yeah, everybody got a birthday. So last week it was Annalise's, then this week coming is going to be mine's and Malkaya's, and the following week Isabella, and then the final week of September is going to be AZ. So I'm always celebrating birthdays every week in September, but this has been I don't even know how to explain what's been going on. I feel like I've been in a roller coaster ride of emotions, and I'm now trying to stabilize myself. And it's just because, and I know it's a transition. Whenever there's a transition in my life, going from, I can just use money, earning one, figure to moving up to like the next step. There's always when you're going from, or people will say when they're going from 6 figures to 7, it's like you have to do this shift in your mind in order to get to the next place. And for me, it's going from that 5 to 6. So it's like, Natalie, you got to shift your mind. I haven't gotten to the 6th part yet, but I'm preparing to get to that place. So there's certain things that is shifting. And I don't want to say it's causing me anxiety. It's not causing anxiety, but it's just causing me to self-reflect. And there is emotions that come with the shift and the transition. So that's what's going on. And I'm like, breathe. It's okay. Chef Jay, we good? We good? Internet.
Keep going to the topic today, and let me get myself together.
All right. So the topic is get up and move. Okay. And let me tell you something. I thought Chef Jay was coming for me because I had not been exercising like I should. And that's one of the things that, when I had researched back in the day, I think it was in 2014, 9 things that millionaires do. One of those things were to, exercise on a routine basis. Like they have this, mantra about being healthy and wealthy at the same time. And so I thought he was coming for me. I thought Chef Jay was like, Natalie, you ain't working out like you need to be working out. You need to get up and move. And I'm like, I just started back today. Why are you doing this? But that's just a, a natural example of what we need to be doing when it comes to building our business. And for me, when it comes to, I'm gonna use my example of exercising and working out. There was a time that I was consistent with it, and then when things started happening, when the business started growing, I made the excuse, well, I don't have time to work out. But then when I realized working out it was helpful for me when it comes to, relieving stress. I get like a whole lot of creative ideas when I'm running. And I saw the stagnation with my growth when I stopped working out. But now it's getting to the place where the seasons have changed and I can't be on the same schedule that I was before. So I have been in this period, I think, for maybe this entire year, 2023, where I've been constantly adjusting this workout schedule, constantly trying to figure it out. Before the summer ended, I think the 3 months before the summer ended, I had this great routine of going to the park 3 days a week, and I would walk or run for like an hour and a night or 90 minutes. But then the kids got out of school, and so I had to adjust and shift. And then I didn't work out at all for the summer. And now the kids are back in school, and it's like adjusting and shifting again. So it's like with every season, I'm trying to adjust and shift. And now I'm like, Natalie, you don't have to do what you did in the previous season. It's okay, but you can't stop. I cannot stop working out because it's necessary for me as I build this business. But I have to figure out ways to adjust to the season that's coming so I can still find time to implement that workout schedule.
So that's dope on so many different levels, because I think the biggest thing you did was realize the season that you're in. And I think so oftentimes we just move just as business as normal, and that's not what life really is. For me, and I know we spoke about this before, like every season is very, very different for me as a chef. I gotta know when is my high seasons with entrepreneurship, when is it like the best time for me to sell this product, when is it the best time to do this. And when I don't take time to really identify where I'm at in life, it's very easy for me to become overwhelmed and to get stressed out and to have body pains, because I'm realizing that I have not taken time to align to the season. For example, is when we know when spring is coming, people do what? Spring cleaning to get ready for the next season. When people know that winter is coming, what do? They get out all of their winter clothes because they're preparing for it to be cold, right? So if this is that same way with how we prepare ourselves on the outside with clothing, why don't we do that with our spirit, with our business, with our mind? The same concept and rules apply. For example, is I know for me, in order for me to actually get certain things handled, I have to really analyze the whole thing. For example, if I want a smooth school year, I have to address classroom management from the first day of school. So the first thing I did today, we did some activities. We had half the days for the whole week, and so we did some activities about communication skills today. And I'm very loud in my classroom because, one, I have a really big kitchen, and everybody has to hear me. I have classes that have 25 kids, 20 kids, 22 kids, so I have to make sure everyone can hear me. So I said to them, I said, listen, the way I am addressing you now with this tone, I need you to do the same way, because I want to make sure as the school year goes on, we're in the kitchen. If somebody comes behind you with a knife, you know what to say behind you with a knife, or to say, hey, excuse me, coming through, sharp object, because I've trained them to be accustomed to the next season that's going on. But it starts with me first saying, hey, what are the tools I need for all my students to be successful in this first month of school that's going to last the next 10 months? 10 months? Yeah, 10 months of school. So until you start to really analyze these things, you're going to stay in the same place and wonder why you're not growing. You can't wonder why you're not growing when you don't get up and move. You don't get up to analyze what's going on. And I think the biggest part about that is that you have to become self-aware. And Natalie and I talk about self-awareness almost every single time we come on live, because self-awareness helps you realize that, hey, something's not working right. That means if something is not working right, I have to do what I need to do to get it done, because I have to adjust to the climate of the room, adjust to the climate of my life. Because listen, right now it's like 100 degrees outside, right? So for me, I know for a fact I work in the kitchen, so I have to make sure if it's 100 degrees outside with the pilot lights on, it's like 110 or 20. So I have to be dressed appropriate way. I have to make sure I'm hydrated. There's certain things we have to always think of when we're entering a different season of our life. But if we never take account for the preparation, it's hard for us to get up and move because we have not accounted for what goes in making things happen and making things a reality.
I absolutely love that. And I love that you went right back to self-awareness, which, like you said, we always do. And the thing about it with the preparation is people think that preparation isn't movement, but preparation is a verb, to prepare. And that in itself is movement. And so we fail to prepare in thinking that that's not movement. People think movement is spontaneous. You just get up and move. It's as if I remember hearing, I think it was a couple, I can't remember if it was a husband or a wife, complaining about their spouse, saying that they love when their spouse is spontaneous. They don't feel like they should have to plan everything. The spouse should just know, oh, you know, if I feel like going to dinner, let's spontaneously go to dinner. But I'll say people's lives don't work that way. Some things actually need to be planned. You don't always feel like going to dinner outside or feel like spending time with your spouse. As much as you love them, you don't always feel that feel that way of like, I have to do a certain thing. So planning takes away that I don't feel like it this day, and you have it planned to do something. And I think that's where we fail. We wait until we feel like doing certain things in order to do it instead of planning for tomorrow, planning for something to happen, planning the business out. You're never going to always feel like being in business. That's just part of being in business. Sometimes you don't even feel like being alive. Let's be 100% honest. You don't always feel like waking up out of the bed. Some days you be like, I just want to stay in this bed forever. I don't want to do not a daggone thing. I don't want to wake up. Have you ever gotten out of your bed and felt like, I just don't want to wake up today? I just don't want to wake up. Like, people have to realize that when you're building this business, when you're building, or when you're in entrepreneurship, building anything, you have to move in spite of the feelings. You have to take the feelings out of it many times. And there's a way that you can actually allow your feelings to line up with what you're thinking so that it's a little bit more powerful. But we're not going to get into that. Right now, I'm going to simply say we have to take time to plan, because planning is actually moving. So when you hear get up and move, the first step could be the prerequisite, which is, how do I plan to move in this space? What do I need? You heard Chef Jay say, I know that I'm going back to school and it's 199,000 degrees out there. What do I need to plan, knowing that this is the environment that I work in? This is the environment that my students are going to show up in. How do I plan for being in an environment like this? And that's movement in and of itself. Now, don't get stuck in the planning phase, because some people enjoy the planning phase. I have a client, we had to get her out of that. Like, we've been planning. Okay, the plans mean nothing if there's no implementation. If you ain't implementing the plan, I don't care how wonderfully good, beautiful the plan is, you got to actually move. You got to actually execute the plan, because the plan might be trash, but you don't know that until you execute it. Or the plan might be $1 million plan, but you don't know that until you execute it. So don't get stuck in the planning phase. After you planned, and it don't got to be perfect, take the next step.
That's good. And I think that's the biggest part. That's one of the things that's so influential, is making the next step. One thing I admire about my mentor, Dr. Jewel Tinker, is her ability to get up and move. Like, once she makes a decision about it, you still can't hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Not on IG. I can only hear you.
Can you guys hear me out there? Just make sure they can hear me. I'm sorry. I'm on mute. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest thing about really planning is, once you make a decision to move, things change out differently for you. That's one thing I admire from my mentor, Dr. Jewel Tinker, is her ability to just revamp her whole life to make things work. So, for example, is if something's not working, she will analyze the situation and she will have a whole plan that's at least $1 million to change it around. And I love that, because I think sometimes we get so stuck in stuff that didn't work out and like, oh man, that didn't work out. Maybe it's not meant for me to do this. Oh, this didn't work out. Maybe it's not meant for me to do this. And we start to become complacent with failure and start to be make excuses of why it didn't work out versus that, hey, maybe if I edit this recipe, I'll start to really get the success that if we need to kind of do that part. Like once you start to take actionable steps, even if something fails, like okay, I'm gonna do it better tomorrow. You know, so like normally at the beginning of school, I'm used to having, let's say, 47 minutes to teach a class. All this week is half a day. So normally stuff that I do at the beginning of the school year is like kind of compressed into like smaller amounts. So tomorrow I kind of ran out of time with two of my classes. As it tomorrow, okay, what's going to be our actionable steps that we can make sure that we have a strong opening, a good middle part, and a closing of my lesson. And I'm going to work on that tomorrow for the rest of the week because I want to make sure my students are understanding what needs to be understood. And so oftentimes I feel as though we don't want to understand things. Like I feel as though we get comfortable with a no that we never realize what do we need to change to make it a yes. And my life has always been that part. I've gotten a lot of no's. So what I did was I edited what needed to be changed for it to be a yes. And until we take time to really start editing those moments of growth, we're never going to reach our fullest potential. And until we start to really go through that editing phase, we're going to stay stuck. We're going to stay doing the same things over and over again and not have any manifestation. The biggest part getting up and move is actually moving. You know, so what, and I think the best part is like, look at your life, right? And as you look at your life, what are the things that you need to move on? Because it's easy to talk about stuff like this, and it's easy to have an amen corner, easy to be like, oh, you said that sounds good, but really taking account of your life, what are the things that you need to really move on? And once you start to take that moment of accountability, say, hey, these are the actionables, these are the things that I need to move on, whether it's health, finances, mental state of mind, your kids driving you crazy, your job driving you crazy, whatever the issue is, you have to take a look and say, okay, you know what? These are the things that are troubling in my life, and these are the things I need to act on. So now let me make a realistic life plan to make these things work for my good, because the Bible says to me, all things work together for the good of the Lord. So I know for a fact that all things are made to work for me. But it's my job to realize, let me self-reflect and to see what are the all things include. Because once I start to analyze the all things, everything starts to make sense. But if I never take time to really start to pivot and work on my mind and say, hey, Josh, these are your areas that's bothering you. Don't keep sweeping underneath the rug, because after a while you keep sweeping dust underneath the rug, it's going to be such a big issue that now it becomes dirt that you can't really fix. It's like somebody who's a hoarder. They put something there, next you know, you realize that the whole thing is covered in mess. But now I have to take steps to say, well, how did I get here? So instead of me going through that, let me go back.
That's really good. I love that. Again, we going back to self-awareness because that's the key, you know, to moving forward. And as you were talking, I put this in the chat. It's the expectation, because your expectation will be the catalyst to your manifestation. You know, if you're constantly expecting a no, that's what you're going to receive. And some people are with the mindset of, I want to be surprised. You know, and you know, as crazy as it sounds, I've heard people say that I'm going to position or I will expect the worst, right? But hope for the best. That's the language they use because they want to be surprised because they've been disappointed for quite some time. And so they don't want to put themselves out there in order to be, you know, disappointed yet again. So again, they would hope for the best, but their expectation is for the worst. And because they're expecting the worst, they're receiving the worst. So we have to go back and we have to go manage our mindset. I'll say it like that. We have to manage our mindset. A lot of us have lost credibility with ourselves. I had a conversation with a friend this weekend, and I said, you really don't trust you. You've lost credibility with you because you have made so many mistakes that now your body thinks that this is who you are. You are prone to making mistakes. You are prone to failure. You are prone to disappointment. You started the business way back when and you tried it 5 or 6, same business, mind you, 5 or 6 or 7 times, and you keep coming back to this place of starting over and starting over and starting over. So now your body is like, you a failure. I mean, it's not who you are internally. It's not the essence of who you are, but your body has been conditioned to fail. So now, if you don't have self awareness, if you don't, as the Bible says, confess your sins so that God can give you something else, if you don't empty yourself of that first and then start creating new habits and creating new belief systems, it's never going to happen. You're trying to put $1 million mindset and layer it on top of a poor person's mindset. You're trying to have duality. When I told the person, I said, you are out of alignment with yourself because you say one thing and you believe one thing, and then your language is flip flopping. So there's no one course that your body can follow, because one minute you're this and then the next minute you're not. And then one minute you're this and the next minute you're not. You have to first confess the fact that, look, I have lost credibility with myself. I don't show up for people. I messed up. I done started this business 1,700 times and I consistently drop it. But this time I want to do something different. This time I want to be someone different and work on the mindset portion. This is where you get in a session with Coach Jay and you begin to work on your purpose and your mindset, because some of us are building businesses without a purpose. And building a business without a purpose is like sailing a boat without an anchor. The wind will take you wherever it wants to go. You hear me? Wherever it wants to go. So you don't have no anchor, you don't have no steering wheel, the drop thing, I don't know what they call that thing. You don't have nothing. You just on a rowboat in the middle of nowhere, and when the wind blows, go where you go. And it's like you have to now start thinking as you're rebuilding, because many of you are going to be in the rebuilding phase. What can I anchor myself to? And that's your purpose. That's your why. What am I doing this for? Am I supposed to even be doing this? I feel like there's a lot of entrepreneurs that need to be on the 9 to 5. Go help somebody build out their vision. No, seriously. Go
I
help
get
somebody
you.
build
No,
their
I
vision.
know. I know. Because I see the
Like,
crazy
you
stuff.
can't see nothing. You can't see. And you trying to help somebody else. You want people to help you build a vision and you blind. Like, go ahead and sit down, because that's what I had to do. I was trying to build a business while I was blind. And God said, go sit down and go back into the classroom, because you obviously don't know what you're doing. And when I went back in the classroom and opened up my eyes, I was like, oh, this is the stuff that I had been missing. I had no integrity now. This is what I had to say to myself. Natalie, I have no integrity. So how do I now show up in the place in somebody else's vision and have integrity? And then when I was operating consistently in integrity, I started to become open. Then I was able to move into entrepreneurship, because you gotta have integrity as an entrepreneur. It don't get no easier on this side, because you don't got no 401k, you ain't got no steady paycheck. If the clients don't show up, you don't get paid. Like, all of that is in it. So I know we're talking about movement, but sometimes you need to move in somebody else's vision with integrity before you can start building out your own.
But how can you successfully move? Okay, there's so many chiefs and not enough Indians. And before you can be a chief, you have to be an Indian. There's so many people who want to be the head that they don't know what it means to be the body, because every part of the body has a moving function. If you don't have a neck, you can't turn your head to where you gotta go. So it's like, I think it's just that people just get so accustomed to just wanting to be, I'm a boss. And honestly, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't got no workers, you ain't no boss. It's like, you a boss of yourself. You want somebody to come into your business, but you couldn't give your work the best 100%, right? I realized that in every job I've ever had, no job can ever say I was lazy. They cannot say I didn't go above and beyond. Now, of course, a difference, you know. cannot just pop up and say, I'm gonna do this, right? And I realize, especially as an entrepreneur, so many people that want to start a business, and there's nothing wrong with that. Be as dope as you want to be, but along with this vision of entrepreneurship, be excellent. And be excellent in everything that you do. Like for me, one of my struggles is coming to work on time. Like I just be tired. So I have other stuff going on, but it's like this morning, I wanted to make this event that we had going on, so I got to work at 6:15. Like, hey, you want to start get things acclimated, because there's some reasons why your business is not growing. It's because you're not giving the same respect to another company. You wonder why you don't got good employees. Are you a good employee? And this whole time, we don't really have this level of excellence. And when you don't have the level of excellence, you can't be surprised why things aren't working for you. You're not being excellent. The reason why David was so admired was because he had an excellent spirit. In the Bible, David had an excellent spirit. What does that mean? Like, do you do things not to be perfect, but you do things in a way that has integrity, like Natalie said? And so oftentimes we don't have integrity. I had a conversation with somebody a few weeks ago about church, and they was defending what this guy was saying. I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny, but church is not attractive anymore. The place that should be the most integral place is a place of non-integrity. So I don't fault people for not wanting to go to a place. Not saying every place is like that, but there's so many bad examples of it that it's just like we want people to come to our fellowship, come be a part of our organization, come do things with us, but we don't have integrity. One thing I pride myself on as an entrepreneur is always showing up with integrity, because I want to make sure that whoever comes in my presence will say, man, it's something that's different about Chef Jay. It's something different about Josh. It's something different about Natalie, because I know how I show up is not a representation of me. It's a representation of the kingdom. The thing about it is you may be the only light someone sees on a daily basis. You may be the church that somebody always sees. You may be the example of what excellence look like. You never know who's watching you. One thing about my mentees and my students, they watch me to the T. It was so good to see them today for the first time. And it was just like, what teachers are impactful by the way the kids show up the first day of school and who they come to, right? And it just felt so good, because I'm like, wow, so I am making a difference. When you show up every day with the decision, today is going to be my day to be excellent. Today is my day to go do better than I did before. It's something about having an excellent spirit. When you have an excellent spirit, you just show up different. Like people want you to be around. Oh no, bring Natalie. Bring your friend Natalie with us. She's gonna come with some type of wisdom, some type of good energy. Do people say that about you? And sometimes it's hard to get up and move because you have not changed your circle of people who are runners. My circle of people are runners. If I say, Natalie, let's do something, let's go. Even to this week, me and Natalie made a commitment the past 2 weeks to say, hey, we're going to post every single day. We'll switch who posts about the podcast. And this week was very hard for me because it's back to school. It's challenging. Natalie's like, you got it. You're going to get it. And I'm like, oh, no, that's not good enough. Like, I need to make sure I do it because I am just practicing being excellent. Because here's the thing about it is, right? When the light shines upon your life, will you be ready to go forward? When the opportunity you need to get from point A to point D, because when favor hits your life, it's easy to skip levels, right? So when that moment comes, will people be like, man, this person always shows up excellent. This person always has a positive attitude. This person always has a positive outlook. Can people say that about your life? But the thing about it, the first way to think about it is go to reflect on yourself. And with your self-daily reflection, do I show up excellent? Do I show up with such grace that people want me to be around? And of course, you're not saying be a people pleaser, but it's nice when people want you around because you add value. Being excellent adds value to every situation. When you show up with character and excellence and wisdom and grace, you show up and add so much value that it's almost like a non-negotiable fact that people need you in the room. The more you show up with integrity, with grace, and just a level of character. Character is such a missing thing in a lot of communities, especially our communities. I try to really practice character every day. And let's say if I kind of miss the mark, okay, what can I do tomorrow to really be a better person about this? What can I do tomorrow to make sure that I don't make the same mistakes? But that's a part of get up and move sometimes mean let me sit down and work on my mindset. Like Anna talked about earlier. Sometimes get up and moving is just sitting still to meditate, but you're taking the action actually Let me get out of this funk and let me actually choose the life I want to live. Let me choose my daily actions, because the more I start to reflect and to analyze and to self-reflect and to develop and to grow, next year I realized that things in my life started to change. Drama that I had last year is not a drama of today, because I took accountability and said, Jay, this is not going to be a 2023. So now I'm making my list of what do I want to leave in 2023, what do I want to bring in 2024. Yeah, September, we got 3 months. So how do I want my life to end? So what are you going to do today to get a move?
So good. Golden. Silver and gold is dropping today. It's so good, because honestly, the it starts in your mind. You have to start with your mind first, because if you do not, you're going to be in opposite to each other. They're going to be in conflict with each other if your mind has not been made up. So you have to make a decision in your mind first. You got to move in your mind. I love when you said sometimes the movement comes from sitting still. If you're sitting still, which is also a verb, sitting is a verb, it's an action word. Because you don't see it as actually doing something, you see it as just sitting down and being still. You think it's no movement to it, but actually there is movement in your sitting. You have to really take time to acknowledge what you've been thinking, acknowledge the trash that has been circulating in your mind. So we have a pool in the backyard, right? And for a whole week, we forgot to turn the filter on. I don't know what we was doing that week, but we forgot to turn the filter on. When we came to that pool, there was a storm that came through that week. There was stuff that it was like 103 bigger days out here, like 110 and stuff like that. And when I came back to that pool, that thing was green. I was like, Marinati was like, get rid of it, get rid of all of it. We're done. The pool is done. I said, no. Just give me a couple of days. Got all the stuff that I needed to keep the pool. Got brand new filters for the pool. And although the water was green, because we were able to filter out the dirt in the pool, the water was able to circulate. We put some stuff in there that was able to kill the algae in the pool. The pool is now crystal clear because of how we treated it. And that's the thing, our mindset. We can't just throw away the whole business. We can't just throw away the whole idea. Sometimes we have to treat it. Sometimes we have to filter some things out. Sometimes the movement is literally just in your mind. That's it. So you may need to get in a session with Coach Jay and myself. You may need to get some clarity on your business. You may need to understand what your purpose is. And although that looks like no movement in the marketplace, because you have taken the time to have movement in your mind, when you step back on this, it's going to be completely different. Look, I can tell you so many client testimonials, but I had this one client, and we had been working together. She had been following me for a year. Then she had different things, a Friday session, and then I'll reach back out to her. I said, once we had this, let's get in the session. She was like, cool, let's do it. Got in that thing for 2 months. And we're working on her clients, we're working on things, we're refining certain things, we're working on her mindset. And then she left. And I was like, man, God, she left, she didn't get no new clients. That's my big problem. I want to see you get clients. It's not just good enough that you get the mindset, but I want to see the results behind what she's done. She came back 2 weeks ago and was like, I just signed 6 new clients into my mentorship program. You hear me? That's the thing. That's what happens when you decide to sit yourself down, work on your mindset, get with a coach, decide that the trash that has been algae that you have allowed to circulate in the pool can no longer nothing to live in for. Stuff was living in there. Frogs try to live in there, insects try to live in there, all kind of nasty stuff try to live in there. But once we started killing all that stuff, a bug came in there and immediately died. Like everything was trying to come and take it. So when you
That's good.
Really start doing the things that you need to do. Things are going to try to come back, but because you have been consistently working with your coach, because you have been consistently saying your affirmations, whatever the case may be, when the things try to come back this time, it cannot stay.
That's good.
You gotta make a move.
I love that. You said you have to condition yourself. You have to condition your environment to change. If you allow the lifestyle that you're living to change, if you let the lifestyle you're living to keep you in bondage, that is on you. You have to put what you want in there for it to change. If you don't change your life, your mindset, if you don't change your like what's going on, you're gonna stay stuck in a place of uncertainty. The thing about it is, a lot of times, the things that we struggle with the most is stuff we created in our own life. You know, the issues that we deal with the most are the ones we don't address. But until you actually take accountability, say, hey, listen, uh, this is what's going on, this is what my reality is, but I need to change my reality ASAP. I need to get my life together and make a move. But it has to be a choice. You have to condition yourself and condition your environment, put pressure on your environment to things to change. Until I put pressure on my mindset, things won't change. Until I put pressure on the way I'm living, things won't change. I have to. It always comes down to a decision. And if you don't make a decision, you're gonna stay stuck in issues that are gonna take over the rest of your life. But it's up to you. If you don't take control of your life, if you don't take control of your money, if you don't take control of your wealth, if you don't take control of your family, whatever you allow to happen will keep happening. But whatever you put a stop to will stop automatically because you have given it an expiration date. You know, for example, it's like when I'm going food shop, I always got to see what I have to get rid of because some things have an expiration date, and if I leave it in it longer, especially milk is going to start to sour. If you leave milk in there, if you leave stuff that's old, it's going to develop mold because of the yeast and things of that nature. But now, if I take a moment to say, hey, let me take an evaluation of my life, let me take inventory of my life and see what is not working, I will then find a lot of solutions that I thought was not possible because I kept living in my conditioned environment. Until you change your conditioned environment by giving it new rules and regulations, it's going to stay the same. It is up to you to make the necessary change, right? It's not up to me. It's not up to Natalie. It's not up to your kids. It's not up to your family. It's not up to your boyfriend. It's up to you to make the change, right? So until I actively decide to make the change that I want to see, I am going to live the way I'm currently living. And if you don't like how that looks, it's time to pivot and prosper. Anything else, Natalie?
Good.
All right, so this is another week. This is episode 69. So excited what we have working on. Whatever you guys need help with, just reach out. Closed mouths don't get fed. If you're in need of coaching for clarity or purpose, reach out to us. We're here to help you. And it's time to recondition your environment. The sooner you do, the sooner you'll see result and edification like never before in your life. All right. So, guys, even if you have any questions or comments or concerns, and let's make it happen. Life is meant to pivot and grow, so let's make it happen. So, have a wonderful week on purpose, and we out.